I can't be the best relationship builder with my client, with other potential clients. I can't reach out to more businesses. I can't make all these connections. If I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of others.
Welcome back to the Corner Talks podcast. I have my good friend here.
How's it going, man? Happy to be back.
No, it shouldn't be about anything. Like, this is one life.
Yep, one life? Like, fucking do it.
My guy.
Like, she just got it. She totally understood it.
20 years old when I started just watching a lot of movies.
And it tells a story. I want to tell a story.
Talented entrepreneur and hair studio owner, Nick Benitez. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. Nick, it's been a while. It's been a pleasure that you've been a guest on the podcast, but it's been a while since we last connected. To give the audience some background information, we connected at your barbershop, Hair Anatomy, which is located in Montreal. And that is because I was the behind-the-scenes director for the national tour of prolific comedian Nima Naz. So I got the opportunity to meet yourself and your amazing staff and your team, I should say. Incredibly talented, as seen in the behind-the-scenes vlog that I recently put out from the Montreal version of Nima Naz. So if anyone wants to see a testimonial regarding their exquisite services, please, I encourage you to watch that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, man, it was nice to meet you, and that day was really like, it was kind of like everywhere, you know. Not to put Nima and you guys on blast, you guys were like fucking 40 minutes late.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I wasn't the orchestrator. I was just got the camera.
Yeah. But it's all good, man. I mean, yeah, Nima and I, we go back. I've been cutting his hair actually when he was in comedy school.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he mentioned I was his like first like quote unquote like barber, like regular barber that he would come see.
Yeah.
But I would take care of him half in Markham, which is like in the suburbs, and half in downtown Toronto.
Nice.
And we kept in touch. I've seen the guy grow. But it's really cool how you been connecting with him. Like how do you know Nima?
Yeah, no, it's very interesting you say that. Like, I'm from Toronto, now living in the greater Toronto area. So I guess we just realized we were in close proximity of each other through Instagram. At least I was, kind of pursuing him like for being a guest on this podcast, which he made 2 appearances. And then one thing led to the next. I'm a film director. I wanted to expand my skill sets and try my hand at vlog style formats. And his tour was coming up, and one thing led to the next, right? And it all came into fruition where I pitched some ideas. They enjoyed my work, and next thing you know, I was on the tour. So I was really grateful for that opportunity, because along the way I met people like yourself, so many contacts and connections that really have come into their own, and just inspired me to be a more creative individual, but a better human being. That makes sense. So that's why that's why I say that with sincerity. Like, I enjoy having you on the podcast because I didn't know it was your barbershop when I showed up, right? Like, I thought it was, just some kind of barbershop that was highly recommended on Google reviews, or you know what I mean? And then just seeing that like we're very similar in age, and you were from Markham, right? I'm from Vaughan. I was truly inspired that you went all the way to Montreal and started your whole barbershop kind of enterprise. And this is why I wanted to talk to you about, like, as an entrepreneur myself who solely operates 94 Productions to enhance my filmmaking profession and reach, I'm genuinely fascinated with individuals like yourself that take the risk to follow their dreams. And I remember you were discussing that many times in the behind the scenes vlog, right? Like, this was something that you always aspired to do, have your own business and really pursue the art of hairstyle, if that makes sense, right? Because it is an art in its own way. So I want to know from you, man, like, why did you decide to start the business Hair Anatomy?
Well, me personally, I've been cutting hair since I was 14. Okay. Like you said, I started in Markham. Mm-hmm. That's where I was born and raised. And, started in a barbershop, learned at one shop for 3 years, went to another shop. At the same time, I was going to hair school, finished hair school, and then within like that 4 to 5 years, like after like hair school, I then moved to Montreal.
Okay.
Um, Came here for a better opportunity, and then one thing led to the next, where like um, this opportunity came my way
Okay.
to open up a hair studio, a hair salon. But maybe hold on, I'm actually skipping like a couple important parts.
No, for sure. Take your time.
Moving to Montreal, I was grateful enough to get sponsored by this brand that put me a part of their education team in Canada. So like,
Oh,
there's
wow.
a team of like educators, like barber educators that teach through like a clipper brand. I ended up leaving that after, like, I think I was there for like less than a year.
Okay.
But they taught me how to teach. So, the proper lingo when it comes to like being in front of like big crowds. Things like never say how many years of experience you have on a stage, because like if there's somebody in the audience that has more experience than you, and you come up there and you're like, "Hey, I'm Nick. I've been cutting hair for 2 years. I'm an educator."
Yep.
They'll be like, "Why should I listen to this guy?" Right? So things like that. They really taught me how to like move an audience, how to curate like a class, and how to like kind of control the room, right? When there's a lot of different personalities and individuals
Right.
that are essentially just trying to like learn the same thing.
Mhm.
They showed me how to put that all together, and I took that information, I took that knowledge,
Mhm.
and did my own thing. So I did my own education course, and then fucking COVID happened,
Yeah.
and then I just started cutting hair from home. But then I
Mhm.
started to just get more creative, man. That
Yep.
time, I'm sure you can relate, right? Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
time was kind of like a wake up call for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people too,
Mhm.
where it was like it's time for us to like do something different. Like it's time to like this is an opportunity for me to actually go all in, because like the world's on pause now. Like I can get ahead. That's the way I saw it. And at that time when I was cutting from home, I was also like setting up different events too. Like obviously like I think once like lockdown was like lifted and it was like going back and forth, like I would I hosted a class in Montreal, and then I hosted a class in a city called Sherbrooke in Quebec, and then I went
Yep.
back to Toronto. So the education thing really helped me build my name and get out there and reach out to more
Nice.
people in my industry. And then eventually, like where I was cutting hair from in my house, my lease was ending, and I didn't want to pay. How much was it at the time? I think it was like $2,500, and
Wow.
yeah,
Like this was rent for your house. You were cutting doing appointments out of your house?
yeah. It was like a 2 level, like 2-story, like
Right.
apartment, and I I didn't care at the time. I was like, you know what? Like, let me just collect these serve checks and like let the government
Yeah.
pay for my rent.
Yeah, for sure,
But
man.
then like everything happens for a reason. Serve, like I had to stop. Like serve stopped.
Yeah.
My lease was ending, so I said, you know what? I gotta look for a space. Originally, the studio.
Yeah.
Originally, the plan was to actually just find a space for myself to operate from.
Right.
Um, and um, when I was referred to my current landlord, um, he showed me a certain area that was like available. But then I asked him like, what if I just took over the other half? Like it was like a small room,
Yeah.
like the and uh once we kind of agreed to like a bigger space, I was actually with my current girlfriend. Like we just started dating. She's a hairstylist too,
Nice.
from Mississauga,
Yep.
and
Her name is
she was
Callie, right?
working. Yeah, Callista.
Coastal, right? Okay.
Callista was she was living in Mississauga at the time.
Okay.
or Milton or Mississauga with her mom and dad. But anyways,
Yeah.
she came to Montreal with me, and we looked at the spot together, and then once
Nice.
we agreed on like a bigger spot, we realized like this could be an opportunity to actually grow a team. Wait,
Yeah.
I could actually like we could do this together
Hmm.
and build like a whole studio, half barber shop slash like hair salon.
Yeah.
So originally my intentions was just to have a space like just for me, but then I realized, oh wait, I have all these like I have great girlfriend and partner that does amazing hair. Myself, I have a great clientele. Let's just like build it together. So um it kind of just happened, to be honest. And I've always been very open-minded. I always like to see like, the signs of like, like, oh, this is like this is clearly like laid out for me. Like, I think this is my time to like kind of jump on it and take it. So, once we found the space, we started building a team from there. And thankfully, because of all my education classes, um, recruiting barbers was a little bit easier. I wouldn't say it was like a piece of cake, but
Hmm.
it allowed me to open up open up opportunities to like recruit people on the team, because like you need a team. You can't just be a one-man show forever. Like I think a team is like it's super important. So yeah,
That's
that's pretty
awesome.
much like how it came
Yeah, no,
together. Yeah.
man. Yeah, it's quite a story. And, again, taking in your business firsthand, being the person that was shooting on location, I kind of had a general impression of that story. Like this was something that you started a business with your girlfriend, and you don't set out in Montreal to find this location because, again, you're not from there originally. Your hometown is in Markham. So it was quite an endeavor, right? Quite an undertaking, which you proved to be successful in. And
Thanks, man.
yeah, no, for sure, man. Like I really enjoyed just the craftsmanship, the team, the professionalism, I should say too. Like it just felt like you guys were in control and you're very confident about being business owners. And it's very challenging too, right? Like you guys are, again, relatively young. Not to say you can't be young and be a business owner, but just to conceptualize, you guys are running your own operation and you're doing it again with your girlfriend. And just that takes a lot of tenacity and maturity to achieve that. I'm really, amazed that you said with the pandemic, how it kind of like it served as a catalyst, incentivize you to kind of pursue your passions. I think that was the common theme for a lot of individuals like myself, creative individuals, that is, someone's
Yeah,
with
definitely.
either an artistic talent or entrepreneurial tendency.
D-
Um,
Daniel,
Pandemic, man, just, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
how old are you?
I'm 28. I just turned 28.
Seriously,
Yeah. How old are
how
you?
long? Me, I'm 24.
24. That's right. I think we got into this discussion because we thought you were 26 or something when we were filming,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Nah, bro, I'm 24." We're all
How
like,
long have
we're both
you
stopped. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, sir.
how long have you been in your industry? Like how long you been
Yeah,
a
man. So
creative?
what I tell people is I've been in my industry for about 5 years steady, like relentlessly pursuing it, if that makes sense, like associating with the right people and connecting with people and things like that. But I've been like a filmmaker since I was 20. I've been writing screenplays, feature-length screenplays. They call them passion projects for when I become more established and meet the right people that can help fund that project. Since I was 17 years old, so I've been doing it for a long time. It's a excruciating process. You know what I mean? It's a
Hmm.
slow grind, but slowly but surely, as they say. I'm fully aware that some people, they have different opportunities, and for lack of a better word, luck. Luck plays a huge part into what I'm trying to do, because it's so specific. I'm trying to create this
Hmm.
multimedia empire while being a Tarantino and representing Toronto like Drake does. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to do all these things that are highly ambitious, and people tell me every day. But I just have this inkling in my heart, like this knowing that I can achieve it because I get recognition from people like yourself telling me like, they enjoy my work, whether it's a vlog or questions from a podcast, you know what I mean? It's like, I know I
Hmm.
have something and I can't give up on it. Like I have to channel it somehow because you never know where it could take me. Right. So I've been doing it for a while, man. And this pandemic, what I was trying to get at is, it saved me in a lot of ways. I was a person that was very miserable, very down on my luck, and I was just not finding any kind of joy out of life, and I was going through a lot of personal problems as well. I'll be honest with you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the growing pains, I guess, of your 20s, right, the formative years. But nevertheless, I never had the courage, the bravery to pursue the arts, or try my hand at directing. And the more I pushed it away, the more it was taking a toll on my heart. And when the pandemic happened, I kind of, like you said, I had that mentality. I told my parents too. I come from an immigrant background, and they were adamant on me getting a full-time job, corporate job, and I understand and respect them for that because I'm still going through the woes of it. You know what I mean? You got to make money in order to eat, feed yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I needed to go full throttle on this dream. And the only way I was able to do it is if I finally had the bravery to say like I'm gonna do something for myself. Because I was working like dead end jobs, man. I was working so many odd jobs. You know how it is, right? And I was just miserable all the time. I never really like sat myself down and like pursued my craft. So what I'm saying is when the pandemic hit, I started my production company, 94 Productions. I started saying, I'm going to create and cultivate these clients while, we're in lockdown. So that way, when we emerge out of the pandemic, I'll have some clientele or some, at least people will know of me. I think that was my biggest goal. It wasn't so much to assemble, 10 clients that can um, fund me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was more about building that network, that exposure. And that's what I've done successfully, as one of the many goals that I've had for myself. But it's a constant up and down. It's a fluctuating path, as you know, as an entrepreneur, which I wanted to get into next, right? Is there's a lot of setbacks and failures and doubts. And um, obviously what I'm trying to do is a little bit more elusive as opposed to running a business, being a barbershop, hairstyling salon kind of thing, because I have to appeal to a market that is very subjective, right? With a haircut, yes, it could be subjective, but at the same time it's like, does this guy know what he's doing or not? Right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like you can
Well,
tell immediately like what you can pull off. Yeah.
like I'm actually more like curious to know more like about your story because my little brother is actually like going back into film school.
Right.
So
Nice.
he's actually I don't want to speak too much on his behalf, but like
No worries.
I think what happened was film was his plan A, then he went to his plan B, which was culinary.
Okay. Nice.
But then like he like it's like your situation with the odd job thing
Yeah,
that's how culinary is or was to him,
for sure.
but
Yeah.
he's going to be going back into school. So like with your story and your situation, when you had that wake up call, once you like actually started your production company, what was your first gig?
My first gig. Yeah, as a certified production company. I think it was like a real estate video I did for a friend, for high school. We connected at the gym. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, like I love your content." I didn't have like many videos, bro. I think I had like 2 short films, but he just knew that I had this passion, this um kind of desire for storytelling, and he said, "Can you apply that and help me like start my business?" Right? And he still has them on his Instagram page, which is an honor because it's like 3 years old. But
Mhm.
I impressed him, and I think that's what gratified me the most is his reaction. Like he
Mhm.
called me up. It wasn't even a text like fire. He called me up and he's like, "Bro, I'm actually speechless. Like I don't know what to say." And I've come, you know, such a long way from that first video if I show you to like the vlogs. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, just in terms of like the camera movement, the style, the music choices, editing preferences, right? Things like that. That was, yeah, my first gig, man. And I have had many gigs in between that. And it's a blessing every day, right? The fact that people want you to provide your services for their brand, because that's what I do. I help cultivate brands. I've worked with Tom Bilyeu of Impact Theory. Do you know him? Any chance?
Impact Theory.
Yeah, Tom Bilyeu. He's like a Gary V. He's Lisa Bilyeu, a woman of impact. They've interviewed like Andrew Huberman, and he has a big YouTube show. So he's like
Maybe
this.
by face.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, I'll try to pull a picture of as I'm talking.
Okay.
So essentially, I worked for his company, yeah, for over a year, and just going from like again a small real estate company, just doing videos in Hamilton to someone like that. Those are what I'm trying to get at, indicators of success, right? That I'm
Mhm.
on the right track, and I can't give up now, even though it's very tempting. And I wanted to kind
Yeah.
of like transition that for yourself. So yeah,
Oh, that guy.
yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah.
What's that? What's his show called?
Well, Impact Theory.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know if
yeah,
it has a
yeah.
name.
Okay, yeah, it
Yeah,
is
but
Impact.
it's like a
Shit.
talk show. Yeah, he brings on all these like guests and entrepreneurs and things like that.
So what
Um,
you were in the production team for that?
yeah, I was responsible for the video editing. And then I was trying to transition to like creative directing and things like that, which I dabbled in, but it was more so senior video editing. So like I was taking care of like launch campaigns, mid-roll ads, brand presentation, like how he was perceived amongst audiences. And I worked on the Women of Impact side with Lisa Bilyeu, and they were impressed by my work, man. They really served me a high compliment. They told me that I raised the production standard of their company, and the creative standard, I mean. And I just like hearing like pieces of feedback like that, right? It kind of tells you, how far you can go, right, with this career. But nevertheless, I did have my setbacks and my challenges, right? And this is why I wanted to ask you, for your own business, like what setbacks or challenges have you encountered that almost derailed the business or discouraged you from being an entrepreneur altogether?
Fucking, that's a deep ass question.
That's what we do.
Um, Let me just make sure my battery won't die here.
Yeah, no worries.
Setbacks.
Like, have there anything you've encountered where it was like, whether it was with your girlfriend as co-owners or leading up to this, proposition to take up space in Montreal and open your business? Anything that kind of you said to yourself, why am I even doing this? Like, why don't I just become a barber at a salon or, work as an employee?
Wow, what a fantastic question. Um, Personally, I've never experienced a situation that kind of made me like say to myself like, "Fuck this, I'm gonna shut the business down," or like, "Fuck this,
Okay,
like
good.
let's just like." Nothing like I don't really believe in quitting.
Nice.
I
Which
don't believe in
explains why
quitting.
why you're where you are, right?
Yeah, man. Like I've always said this like as a joke, but it's like it's a half serious like thing I've always said. Like for example, when I when I was like cutting back in Markham, like at at Royal Fades Barbershop, we used to that's actually where I used to cut Nima.
Okay.
We used to bang out like 20 haircuts a day just
Hmm.
because like we were new shop and and the one thing, at the end of the day, we'd always be like, fuck man, I'm so tired.
Right.
But like I would always say, you know what, this is the life I chose.
I like
As
that.
as like a sarcastic, joke thing. But I would take that but I would always say this even till now. Like even like haircuts, I wouldn't do 20 haircuts. I'm not even sure how the hell I even did fucking 20 haircuts, but I can't do 20 haircuts now. But like at the end of the day, sometimes in Montreal, I'll just say like, you know, fuck, I'm tired as fuck, but you know what? This is the life I chose. Like I you are a product of all your decisions, literally. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
the reason why like I'm sitting on this couch that like this fucking color is because, you know, all my decisions have led me to this fucking, like that's
Yeah.
the way I see a lot of things. And when it comes to like quitting, like I don't really or like backing down, like I don't like to do that because like I see it as like I've come so far.
Right.
um but just to clarify, I'm not saying that to kind of be like, oh like I've come so far, so like like I have to keep going from here. It's not like kind of it's not like that. It's just more like I've learned so much already. Like I need to apply it. I need to
Right.
apply like the knowledge I have
Right.
into bigger challenges. um but it's funny that you mentioned it. Yeah, like I guess the biggest challenge I've learned opening a business, opening my business specifically was opening with your partner and your girlfriend, because my dynamic, I guess compared to like other business owners, like I own my business with my girlfriend, so
Right.
like we literally live with each other 24/7. Like we come home together, we work together. um it was a lot, especially in the beginning. It was a lot. I mean, some challenges that we faced were like, it was a good challenge. It was a good problem, I guess.
Okay.
We're both leaders,
Right.
and there's a saying in Will Smith's book, actually, but fuck Will Smith.
Yeah.
I
I guess you weren't too happy with the whole slap, eh?
honestly, I don't really care, man.
Oh, okay. But you're just saying
Yeah,
like, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
yeah, it's such as a joke, but like,
I got you.
in his book, he was saying like, when there's two people in charge, like in battle, like when there's two people in charge, everybody dies.
Yeah.
So that's what I like kind of learned, um in a sense, like opening up the business with my girlfriend, is like we both have we're both very strongly opinionated.
Right.
Is that English right there? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Strongly opinionated. Yeah.
Yeah, and we both like want things done a certain way,
Got you.
but we just had to learn to listen to each other, especially me, I think, but obviously a little bit of her too, but mostly me, because I'm the one that's like, you know I'm the one that's like, doing my part. She's doing her part, and I guess like now we're great, but like definitely like in the first like year, first like 6 to like 9 months, it was tough. Like it was like, we're getting at each other's necks. And when you start anything new, right, like a new relationship, a new business, a new hobby, you're always going into like 100% into it, right? Like it's like when you have a crush on a girl, or when you're in a new relationship, you drop everything, and then you're
Yeah.
hanging out with them all day. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the business, opening up the business, like everything for me was like wake up, first thing I think about is, okay, who's at the shop right now? How can I make the business run better? That was
Right.
like my mentality, like for an entire year, like pressure. And the thing is, it made me forget about the other important pillars of life, like your relationships, actually, family,
Right.
friends, and also kind of like took out the spark a little bit in my own relationship, where it's like, it was all fun, and the lovey-dovey and the honeymoon phase was gone. But I'm sure that, it's a normal thing. But the business
So
really
your business, you're saying the business took you out of that with your girlfriend, like it kind of
definitely.
accelerated it. Yeah.
But finally, the most important, the last but definitely not least thing, is like the most important is it made me forget about myself. Like if you look at pictures of me when the shop like was first being built versus like
Right.
2-3 months into the business, my face was like fucking like this. I lost like touch with myself. I was eating like shit.
Oh, you
Wasn't
gained
going.
you gained a shit ton of weight. Wow.
Yeah, because I wasn't prioritizing myself. And one thing that I've learned, when I was on this like fitness journey, when I was like 19 to like 21,
Right.
was like everything starts with you. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others.
Yeah.
So the moment the shop opened, like I fucking threw that principle out the window, and just focused everything on all my attention and energy on the business, forgetting about everything else. That's I guess that's just like a double-ended challenge that I faced, was like, with opening the business with my girlfriend, but also like losing myself too. You don't want to lose yourself. the thing that pushed me to kind of like solve this issue, if you will, is that when I realized that I was spending way too much time with my girlfriend, like
Yep.
waking up together, cooking together, fucking going driving together, working together, coming back home. Like I said to myself, like I need to create healthy space. Like, and and you know, I've talked to her like in the past. I've told her like we need to create healthy space from each other. Like I need to go back to the fucking gym. Like this is like actually like affecting my mental health, but I think also like our relationship as well. So
Of course. Yeah.
you know,
You need to
yeah,
find time for yourself, right? Because that's all it was. Your life was consumed either by the business or your relationship, and there was no time for yourself. That makes sense.
exactly. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like out of all of this, what I've learned is like like it all starts with you. Like if you can take care of yourself, you can't take care of others if you can't take care of yourself. That's the way I see it,
No,
you
I
know?
love that. I admire your honesty, by the way, in the whole story and the transparency, because the reality is, man, when you mentioned that you started a business with your girlfriend, like it raises a lot of eyebrows only because like you're at that age. I assume you guys aren't married. And let's be honest, like nowadays relationships are kind of perceived as disposable. And not to claim that about your relationship, I'm just trying to get at is, you know, it's hard to fathom, right? Like the maturity you would have to have, the formidability, like the fortitude, I mean, to pursue a business venture with your girlfriend. Like a lot of people have hiccups about the wildest things, and you're now in a business partnership. So obviously that's a testament to, you know, the strength that you guys have as a couple. But there
That's
was that
crazy you mentioned
vulnerability.
that.
Sorry, what was that?
I was gonna say, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
That's
no worries.
crazy you mentioned that because yeah, I did feel some backlash from like some friends I had where
Oh,
it's
like
like,
they made
oh
comments.
yeah.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, and again, like I'm a genuine guy, so it's like I would never say like something unless I see something or like I knew you that well. But what
Hmm.
I'm saying is that I'm happy that you're honest about that, because that's something a lot of guys, especially nowadays, would like raise their eyebrows. But I love that you have that communication with your partner to kind of eventually see past that and overcome it, because I'm
Hmm.
sure that was like you were explaining, like a challenge. How so was it a challenge? Was it to the point where it bogged you down, or did it get in your head? Did it ever influence you in your decisions?
When it comes to what do
Yeah,
you
just
mean
people
exactly?
making comments and things. I'm just curious, like
Oh
the
yeah,
psychology of that. Yeah.
great. Wow, man, look at these fucking questions, bro. These are
This
fucking
is what we do on the Corner Talks podcast. We hit it hard.
fan fantastic question. When I was like, you know, hearing comments about what my friends had to say about me and you know, getting into a new relationship and then right away opening up a new business together, right away living together, moving in together, like I'll put it to you this way, honestly. So Callie and I, we've been like family friends. Like we've known of each other since like she was like 14, 15. I was like 16, 17,
Right.
something like that. Um, you know, we know each other through family.
Hmm.
And sorry, can you hear that outside? Sorry
No,
about
no,
that.
we're good. Yeah, yeah, we're good. Again.
Um, so like when we reconnected, it was kind of just like, yo, this is so familiar. Like we both loved each other's music. We both we both loved each other's taste in music.
Right.
We both you know, almost had the same type of like humor, and we both had the same interest. Like, and then I we both got into hair. Like, so it was really easy to click with her, and I kind of just like it was different, man, because you know, usually when you like talk to a girl, a new girl, you're always like trying to put on a, you know, like, you know,
Put on a
playing the
front.
text, you know,
I
oh,
got
what's
you.
the
No,
text?
we're all like that. We don't, because we don't know if that person is deserving of our heart, right? Like that vulnerability.
That too, but also, you know, when it comes to like, you know, sometimes when you have some game, it's like she texted me at like this time, all right, let's just wait 4 minutes. She
Oh
wait, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, of
four
course,
minute,
yeah.
fuck that. Like, you know, like
You toss
I
that out
kind
the
of just
window. You're saying,
I had to because like
yeah,
you know, imagine I was talking all fucking Markham on her, and then she goes and like talks to my cousin, and my cousin's like, "What are you talking about? My Nick doesn't talk like that."
yeah. I love
So
that. I love that. That's what I love about you, man. It's like you're kind of acknowledging those things. It's like because every guy goes through it. I'm guilty of it too, right? like girls in the past have told me, why didn't in the beginning were you like that? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like we all feel like we need to be this person, right? But
Yeah,
at the end of the
yeah.
day, if the girl clicks with you, right, and is responsive, you could be yourself. You don't need to be you shouldn't want to, what I'm saying, as you get older, you realize you shouldn't want to be someone different when you're pursuing someone you have an interest in, right? Because then you have to, it's gonna be very hard to put up that front the whole time, right? Like imagine if you were this
Oh
whole
my God.
Markham persona, and then when you guys are getting serious and you're like, yo, can I just have one day where I'm Nick? Where I'm Nick Benitez? It's gonna be hard, man, right? So that's why
That's
I tell people now,
hilarious.
it's like show them, like, hey, if you're a nerd about Star Wars, you better start telling them right now, or you better start
Yeah.
showing those, because I'm telling you, when you invite her back to your place and you have fucking Star Wars mannequins or a poster, like
Yeah.
you don't want like raised eyebrows, like what's going on, right? And you should want that anyway. Excuse my little rant there.
Super true, man. It's super true, man. Like, yeah, like just be honest. Like,
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard, with the pressure, and you want to stand out in whatever. But you know what,
I want to
man?
be
Like the best,
slick, you know.
yeah, the best person to be is just gotta sounds so cliche, man. You just gotta be yourself. And that's exactly who I was with Callie, and I still am. Um, but back to like, hearing, some comments or feedback like some of my friends would give me.
Right.
Like personally, I'm confident enough in my, I again, I live by this, like this is the life I fucking chose, right?
Of course, I love
So
that. Yeah.
so like when, I would hear those comments like, oh bro, like, yo, are you sure she's the one, bro? Oh, I don't know, man. You've been talking to her for this long, but
Jealousy. A lot of
yeah,
jealousy out there. Eh?
yeah, and sometimes like some people are just in a different like state of mind. Like for
For
example,
sure, for sure.
I had a friend like just got out of a freaking long-term relationship, right?
Yeah.
And then they go and they give you their opinion on how they feel about your relationship. So it's
Yeah.
like, bro, you know what I mean? But anyways,
No, it's all
how
valid.
about
By the way, I just want to say, like, what you're saying, you're describing perfectly, like the sociology of men. Like, when you go out of a relationship and they're just, putting their own kind of opinions on yourself and like how things would transpire. I completely understand. So they're all
cool,
valid for
man?
sure. Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, man. Because like, who gives a fuck, man? Like, I'm just like,
If you fall, you fall, man. This is your life, you know?
exactly. Yo, listen, like, you're gonna make your own decisions. You're gonna make your own mistakes. At the end of the day, like that's your life, bro. Like my
Yeah.
life is like the way I'm gonna be living it, and I know what I like. I at least know my values. I know my values. I know
Yeah.
what's important to me. Um, so at that time when other people's opinion came about, I was just kind of like saying to myself, like, you guys don't know, like, and you don't feel what I feel when I'm with her,
Right.
you know? So it's like, I totally get it from the outside perspective, because even if roles were reversed, right? I'm sure you can relate, Dan, where like if your boy told you like, yeah, talked to this girl for like 4 days and now we're dating, and 2 weeks later, um, she's moving in, you're kind of like, yo, it's kind of too fast.
That's understandable.
Uh,
Yeah.
Absolutely, like that's going to be your first reaction. But I knew I knew that what I was doing is the right thing to do, because like look where we are now. Like we're almost 2 years into owning the business together. Like she hasn't stepped foot into Montreal ever, like into a hair salon in Montreal ever.
Wow.
And the moment the moment we opened the business, she's had a client in the chair ever since. So
Wow.
just like to me it didn't matter. To me it didn't matter what like other people had to say. I definitely had to like listen to it, and maybe I responded to it a couple of times, but I'm just like, dude, uh like that's great, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you had that.
like,
That's what I'm saying. You had that mental fortitude, that resilience to kind of understand that it's your life, and you're going to carry out the way you desire, and you don't need the influence of everyone else. Like obviously, like guys are always going to have opinions, whether they're genuine or disingenuous.
mhm.
Everyone's going to always look out for you, but only you can look out for yourself, and only you're going to understand it for yourself, if that makes sense. So for me,
That's it.
giving you an example, like, I gotta have a nasty relationship. When I look back, you think it's like your good friend, your best friend, right? And you guys are gonna go far together. Now it wasn't similar to what you were describing, like similar in the aspect of supporting each other's dreams and what have you. But what I'm saying is that I would get like red flags, like indicators of like things not working out, like it was very toxic. And I had that like traditional attitude, like, no, like make it work out. Like it's, you feel something, you got to make it go through. Because I don't have that mentality. I wasn't raised that way to like think, disposable, like, oh, whatever, I'll find
Mm,
someone else. So I was like very like I'm very loyal, right? Like if I'm your friend or like I feel like that friendship, because we were friends before we became in a relationship, I stick around. And what I'm trying to get at is people would always advise me like along the way, especially near the breakup, like, yo, like I'm telling you, like I don't think they're right for you. She's right for you. And when I look back, see, I made the decision for myself, and it was a lot of shock to people. But when I look back, it needed to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like
mhm.
I needed to learn that for myself. See, everyone along the way was giving me hints and pointers, but I didn't enact on those. I enacted on what I felt eventually. Now, maybe
Mhm.
it took longer than some people might have perceived. Like you would have said to me, "Yo, Dan, what the fuck, bro? Like you didn't notice that." But this is what I mean by it's like my life. Like this is a life I chose. It's like these are the results I chose. I chose to make it last this long. Now I have to deal with the consequences, or I have to deal with the heartbreak thereafter, right? But I have to make the decision for myself. So what I'm getting at is, sounds like a lovely girl that you're going out with. I've had the privilege of meeting her, and she's very focused and professional in her
Thanks,
practice.
man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have to commend people where it's due. And what I'm trying to get at is you would know for yourself whether it works out or not. And God forbid it didn't work out. It's kind of a hard learning lesson for yourself, right? And that's what kind of shapes you and say, hey, maybe the next business I won't go into a relationship with someone or something. But what strikes me about yourself is that you're very cognizant, you're very aware, and I don't think you would have pursued something like this. What I enjoy, the way you describe the relationship, it wasn't like you're wanted to start a business and the girl's like, yeah, I want to start one too, or like, I don't know, I want to.
Yeah.
It was more like you guys are, like you said, both leaders, both entrepreneurial, and you guys had a plan and a mission, and you're both helping each other out achieve that common goal. You know what I mean? So that's where I
Mhm.
would raise an eyebrow and say, okay, like you're dating this girl and she likes the idea of business and thought it would be cute or fun. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
then you're telling me, nah, this girl's like, has a business acumen, she's professional, she's dedicated, and she's willing to take it to the next level with me. That's an entirely different story. So that's what I'm saying is that it's a matter of perspective and context. And when you're talking to people like that, people will always have something to say, man. Like you could be dealing with the most successful entrepreneur of all time, and like going out on dates and like saying you're gonna create a business, and they'd still say like, bro, like you don't know what they're gonna do with your money. Like people will always have comments. That's what I've learned about this business. It's made me extremely resilient to people's like comments. No matter how high or big you are, it's always subjective. Always, everyone's gonna have an opinion. What matters is what's the opinion about you have about yourself. So I
Absolutely.
commend you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I commend you.
Thank
I
you, bro.
commend you for that, because it takes a lot of balls to not only pursue a business, but do it in a relationship. And you're kind of showing to us, it's refreshing in a way, in an age where this, our generation, we treat each other disposably. Like we there's no friendship, there's no common ground. There's a lot of heartbreak out there, and then you come along and say, no, it can be done. What matters is, does that person share the same values as me? And
That's
you've
it.
proved that, right? Time and again with this woman that you're with, that you do share those same values, and it can be done. And there's mature professional women out there that are willing to support and elevate their man. So yeah, I really admire that.
Yo, you're a great speaker, eh? You know how to
Oh, thank you,
fucking
sir.
talk. Holy shit. You read a lot of books.
Yeah, I read a lot, and that I take pride in my communication skills, because I'm a writer director, so I need that hand in hand, and I need that to be put in practice, right? So thank you for that, sir. I
Bro,
appreciate that. Yeah.
fucking saying
Yeah.
all these words I don't even like. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Good for you,
I'm
man.
giving everybody an education on this podcast.
Yo.
No,
Wow.
honestly, this is what I mean by like taking pride in things. Like for example, when I was growing up, I would mumble when I spoke, and I wasn't as articulate, and I would get calls from the school. My English grades were kind of poor. My writing was really bad, and through the kind of pursuit of writing, right? Through the advent of me following my passion to be a writer and to be a filmmaker and being inspired by the greats like Tarantino and not Spielberg, Tarantino, Aaron Sorkin, like those writer directors kind of thing. Scorsese, Spielberg, yeah, any filmmaker really. I understood that you needed to read books and you needed to write even more than what you read and apply that storytelling. So communicating, whether it's on paper or verbally with someone like yourself, it was so vital, so important as a leader, as a director. So what I'm getting at is I became who I am, not for anything, but out of utter passion, right? Like this is something that I want to do, and how do I best excel at it, right? Like people want to listen to an eloquent conversation, and yeah, I really appreciate that compliment. Thanks, man. You made my day.
Bro, you're gonna be fucking big, bro. When I'm telling you, you're gonna be yo,
Thanks, man.
good for you, yo. Remember me when you're big, bro.
Yeah, I
Holy
appreciate you, sir. I
shit.
appreciate you.
Wow. Good for you, man. Wow. Good for
I
you.
gotta give compliments to Nick because the reason why I'm blushing is because this guy before the podcast, I send the people my guest questions and he goes, "Yo, Chat GBT got nothing on you." Like, for those that don't use that AI program, and I was dying because I've never gotten a paid. Like people have told me, like, "Oh, you're very poetic and very eloquent in the way you speak," but I never heard that comparison before, and I'm like, "Yo, I'll take it." You know what I mean?
Yo, that was really well done. I was
Appreciate
like,
it.
holy shit.
Thanks,
Wow.
man. But yeah, I'm glad we can have this conversation and really dive deep into your business and your organization. Before we like kind of end it off, I really want to understand the marketing power behind it because I've seen on Instagram your presence and kind of other programs that you've instilled through the business, like for example the hair anatomy education. So I want to know through these outlets of social media and through these subsidiary brands, is this all in an effort to kind of expand your reach as an organization, or is it for like a social responsible kind of act of just simply educating people to how to style their hair?
Fucking look at these fucking questions, bro. This is next
Nick, you're
level,
making my
bro.
day, buddy.
Holy shit. All you had to ask was, yo, do you like posting on Instagram or
I had to make sure I know. I want to just like make sure I cover everything. But yeah, pick apart it as you will, man. How do you feel? I guess to make it more simply, how does social media best service your business?
no worries. I understood the question. It's just like, yo, that was really well put together, bro.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
The way I use social media and the way I view social media, to me, I just use it as like as a brochure. Like it's something that potential clients, not something that I'm trying to just wow my current audience with. I always think about who might stumble upon my page, who might come across the hair anatomy education page. I'm always like thinking about like another client, another customer, or someone else's opinion, unbiased opinion, right? Like especially if you don't know me, I always try to put myself in that person's shoes.
Okay.
And I try to cater to their needs and try to like kind of like funnel them into eventually booking an appointment or reaching out about classes and things like that. It's it's funny.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
actually went to see Nima's show he did at Peroni in 2019. Oh no, 2020. I think it was like January or February. I can't remember. But anyways, we went to eat. We went to eat at this pub, and I asked him because I was confused because I had I shared this I have this like formula in my head that like any business out there is kind of showcasing their products
right
in a way where look at this client, he feels good and looks good, you can feel the same way too, book an appointment, right? That's kind of like the same that's kind of like what I mean. So
Okay.
like I had to ask Nima, I'm like obviously he's like trying to make sales,
Yeah.
like he's trying to like obviously run his business. I asked him why do you keep like pushing content out? Is it like because content essentially is not getting you paid, right? Unless it's like sponsored or something,
Yeah, for
or
sure.
like this like endorsement.
Mhm.
But he was kind of he said like it's to like sell shows, right? It's so that people keep knowing about me,
It's
so
true.
that I can like sell out tickets for my shows. So like him and I, we share the same values. Like I need to like I'm always trying to like um reach out to a new potential client when on my social media, but I'm always trying to um make a client feel certain things. So there's a book that I read or I listened to actually. It's called Building Your Story Brand.
Right.
Forgot the author's name, but everything that you post as a business, you need to um, show the potential client um, um, four different things that your product can do.
Right.
Like show me as a client like how your product can help me, one, survive, two, fall in love or find a mate,
Hmm.
three, feel socially accepted, or four, be part of a tribe. So I
Mhm.
guess you can kind of narrow it down to three things. One
Right.
is survival, two is social acceptance, um, and being part of a community or being part of a tribe, and three would be how can I like fall in love or be like attractive. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
The
survival,
best version of yourself. Yeah.
exactly. Number one, survival. It's like with my field, it's kind of hard.
Right.
Survival would be like food or drink.
Right.
I could say that we offer a complimentary coffee or something with
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I
that's
remember the espresso. Yeah.
yeah.
Love that. Yeah. I was too busy
So
working.
there's that, that survival part of it.
Right.
Your hair is fucking dirty. We'll wash it for you. Like that's the part of like,
You're
survival,
providing a
whatever.
basic need for people. Yeah. Hygiene. Yeah.
Right. So that's survival.
Yeah.
Two would be finding a mate or falling in love. Like, Valentine's Day is around the corner. Are you looking fresh for your Valentine's Day? Are you looking fresh for your wedding?
Right.
You have a party. You're going out tonight. Like, is your haircut nice and like, are you faded up?
Yep.
Advertisements like that. And then finally, like being like part of a tribe or like socially accepted, to me is my number one, because I uh base my business on community, and more specifically, just like you and I, like that's the reason why I asked you in the beginning, like what was your first gig, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting how you got that client. It was just through knowing the guy,
Yeah. A lot of people
right?
are
It's
yeah, a
all
lot of my clients, yeah, because of just knowing them. Yeah.
knowing them, word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can make someone feel a part of your circle, a part of your story, a part of your service or product or whatever, get them engaged in it, like that's creating subconsciously for the client or for anybody that you feel socially accepted. For example, let's say a group of you and your boys, there's like five of you guys. All of you guys have iPhones,
Right.
except for one that have a Samsung.
Yeah.
They're gonna feel like automatically like,
The outside.
they're gonna make fun of you're gonna make fun of the guy with the Samsung. Oh no, he's
Of
got an
course. Yeah.
Android.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So like it's so there's like a tribe being like formed with the iPhones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm giving all that just to say, like, with social media, it's just for me, it's just a way to constantly communicate with possible new clients. Obviously invest in ads, try to get myself out there so that when people do come to the page, I want them to book an appointment. I want to meet them. I need to get them in my chair, or like I want people to reach out and buy my classes, buy my courses. But I've learned recently that the most important thing actually in any business right now is the website. You need the website. Like it's all a funnel, right? Like the Instagram part is just to get their attention, in those 3 or 4 different ways, but the real like sale, the real like close is when they come to your website and they actually book that appointment or give you their information. The moment you have their email, the moment you have their contact info,
Right.
they become a lead,
Mhm.
So that's that sales part of it. That's hopefully that's answering your question.
No, for
Um,
sure. It's a very in-depth kind of answer because I wasn't expecting like the thought process, like the steps you've taken into approaching the social media outlet for your business, right? Like many of us, we just look at social media as a great tool, and at best a way to leverage our content. But you take it to another extreme where you kind of investigated the science behind it, if you will. Like how do we best approach it and cover those necessary areas to achieve optimum success, right? I love that you mentioned Nima because that's actually something that when we first connected, I admired about him is that, and we shared something similar, the relentless output of content. It's just like nonstop. And I like that you kind of approached it too, like from a business mindset. Like, but if you're not making money, like, what's the point? Like, I don't understand why you're making all this content. And I've perceived it that way too. But what I've come to understand, and I think the pandemic was a catalyst for this, is you want to stay relevant and you want to keep that exposure and you want people to be tied to your story. Now, I'm not at the level of Nima, like in terms of following and viewership. However, I've created and amassed my own kind of following of people that understand where I'm coming from, like what's my story as a filmmaker and my slogan, keep the dream alive, and all these kind of antics that kind of are tied with my creative outputs. And you're an embodiment of that, I'll be honest, because I don't know anything about you, like in the sense that we've never connected before this podcast other than
right.
our brief interaction. And already you kind of understand who I am. You've already complimented me and see me going far. And when you watch and view my content, whether it's in my present or in the future, you'll now tie in that persona with the content that you see and start to see the bigger picture, right? So
Absolutely.
that's what, for me, it's more of a gradual step, and as my buddies tell me, when it hits, it's going to hit hard. It's like pulling back, a bow in an arch. But that's what it is, right? It's like you have to constantly putting content out there. That's why I developed this podcast. Obviously, I love to speak with people, but if you really want to know, it's a myriad of reasons, right? It's not just at face value, you see it as, oh, I enjoy having conversations. No, it helps me read. It helps me to write, helps me to communicate better, to be more effective as a director, as a leader when I'm on set. It helps to cultivate relationships and expand my network, create potential clients, which I have. That's how I actually got the Tom Bilyeu job, is because one of my guests happened to work for him. So you have to kind of approach it that way, and too many people want to see it as black and white, like, well, if it's not making money, then what's the point? It's like, no, like value isn't always monetary, right? It could be exponentially received in many ways. So yeah, I just wanted to make that point. I mentioned it a lot of my podcast as to why I created the podcast, but I'm really starting to understand the fruits of its labor. There were many times, thank you. There were many times speaking of quitting, right? Like this podcast, it's off of Zoom, right? It still is, but it was even more downgraded in terms of production value. It was kind of blurry and I was in a dark corner and I had like guests from my local area. And I think it just comes down to enjoyment. We enjoy what we do, and that's what pushes us to keep doing it every day. That's what motivates us. Because for you, it's like, you didn't start a business and, being a barber because you needed to make some money, right? Because you refused to be in a trades. No, you did it because you enjoy, like you said, styling people's hair. You see it as something bigger and grander, making people feel good about themselves, right? They got a big occasion coming up. They want to feel, satisfied, right? They want to look their best. I mean, so it was really a pleasure to have this conversation with you, man, and really gain some insight from an entrepreneur, from one entrepreneur to another, like how we approach our businesses.
Listen, I just want to close this off by just saying that you and I are both in industries that are relationship based.
Yes.
It's a relationship based business. It's all about who you know. And, I see it more as like, again, with what I was saying from the beginning is like, it all starts with you. During COVID, I texted, because he was one of the clients at my old barbershop. Yeah, I see you have a dog, right?
Yeah.
And So have you heard of the poop bag company called Earth Rated? It's like green. It's a green
Oh, I think I might actually use that for my dog. Well, that
Yeah.
Earth graded? Yeah.
So the owner of the company, I think they're in like 45 different countries or whatever. He so the company is based in Montreal actually.
Oh yeah, I do. I use
I
this exact bag. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
It's awesome. Yeah, no, because I have a dog right now. Yeah, Milo, and I use it. It's green. Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah,
Shout out to Abby. Abby's actually he's a Sri Lankan guy. He's a
that's
dope, man.
wild.
A
Yeah,
super dope
awesome.
guy.
Yeah.
I messaged him and I told him, yo, Abby, it's COVID. I have $10,000 in my bank account right now.
Right.
Where do I put the money?
Nice.
He says to me, before you invest in anything else, invest in yourself first.
Nice. I like that.
So I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I need to, like, it all starts with me. I can't be the best relationship builder with my client, with other potential clients. I can't reach out to more businesses. I can't make all these connections if internally I'm not happy with myself, if I'm not healthy, if I'm not active, if I'm not eating right. Like, those are my values. That's what I like understand myself. Like, that's what I understand for myself, to make myself my like 100%. I need to be able to do all those things. If I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of others.
Right.
So, um, just throwing that out there to everyone, or anyone that's listening to this, that's either working for themselves or working for anybody else, whatever it is. If you want to be 100% at anything, like, you need to be 100% internally first before you can go out and spread that love and that positivity to everyone else, because it all comes back.
Yeah.
It all comes back to you.
Yeah, no, the
So, yeah.
pendulum swings both ways. That's what I learned from my hero Tarantino. In his 20s, he said it was a disaster. No one wanted to talk to him. No one liked him. No one gave him the respect that he thought he deserved. And then he turns it around when he was 30 years old, made Reservoir Dogs, then Pulp Fiction. And he said, and then everything changed, everything turned, right? And I'm not saying that comparing people's lives, like I had it worse, or, I wish I was this or that. I'm very privileged, to be living, where I am, and to have parents that are supportive and such. But only God knows, like, the torment that I went through in relationships and people that I've kind of encountered along the way. So this is why I'm truthful. I subscribe to that notion. I mean, about the pendulum swinging both ways and investing in yourself first, because I know the drawbacks if you don't, and I know the dark side of it because I experienced it firsthand. So, like I was telling you before, is that this is the life we choose, or you were telling me this. At the end of the day, we can make these decisions and learn and grow from them. But what matters is that we kind of make those decisions that can best better ourselves. So yeah, I really appreciate you, Nick, for coming on the podcast. Yeah, and having these conversations.
Listen, you're on your way, bro. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you, man. And it requires a lot of hard work, guys. For anyone that wants to work on themselves, this isn't overnight for sure. But I really appreciate you, Nick. You're on your way as well. Looking forward to showing up at Montreal, getting a nice trim, because I'm not into shaving my head. But you can give me a nice trim anytime. Nice style. So yeah, I'll definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. No, I'm really looking forward to coming back to Montreal, and definitely you'll be one of my first stops. For anyone that's in the area of Montreal, please check out Hair Anatomy by Nick Benitez. He's a wonderful man, amazing entrepreneur, just definitely someone to consider. So I really appreciate you again, Nick. And thank you everybody else for listening, and we'll talk soon.